Ooh, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the best show on a Friday night. Welcome to Hockey Stick Talk Nation with me, your host, Dan, and my special guests tonight. We got Cousin Ed, we got Little Ed, and we got Goza. And Cousin Ed and Little Ed are from the Rangers Ed podcast, which the link's in the description. So make sure you guys go check them out and give them a like and a sub. They really appreciate it. And tonight, if you haven't told, it's going to be all Rangers night, which is very much overdue on this channel.
Yeah.
So, as we do always, we want to give a big shout out to everyone that's in here tonight. We got Maiden's World of Wax. Thanks for coming in. We got Barry. We got sports card ripping teacher Vince, who's a Chicago Blackhawks fan, but we don't hold that against him. We also have coming in, we can scroll down here. Everything's freezing. We're getting a snowstorm right now, so everything's on the blitz. Oh, we got Barry. We got Sebastian in here. Thanks, Sebastian, for coming. Buddies.
All the way from Deutschland.
Robert Springs.
Yeah, good old Germany.
We got Chris.
Good old Germany.
We got Zach's collections. I think that's it for right now. Heard that all that I see. But as we do before we start the show, we want to give a big thanks to our sponsor, Tsunami Sportscards. Remember, if you use the code DMHockey88, you'll save 25% off your first purchase on any sports cards he has on sale. So thanks, Tsunami. We got sports cards and things. Aaron, who's on after me, great show there. So go check him out. So let's dive right in. Everyone's been waiting for it. What do you guys think of the big trade today?
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about this on our show a little while ago. Look, I mean, I think it was something that just needed to eventually happen, and the way the team's been playing, 1-6 in their last 7 coming into tonight. 3 days off between the big loss with the Devils and the Penguins tonight, and Drury had some time to talk to the players one-on-one, and I just think eventually Trouba was going to move. He knew that. Maybe this is a little sooner than we all expected, but it's just something that had to happen to change the culture in the room and just kind of rip the Band-Aid off, so to speak.
Yeah, what do you think about the return back?
I think the return back is a little less important than the actual removal of the distraction and the freedom of the $8 million in salary cap, right? So Vakanainen is more of a depth piece. He might be a guy who plays some games this year, maybe not. But he's got some good underlying metrics. I was looking at his analytics earlier, and maybe he gets a chance, maybe he doesn't. But more importantly, they freed up the $8 million. They signed Igor, and with that money, and that seems to be the goal here, was removing the distraction from the locker room. Trouba's time was just done, just pretty evident.
Yeah, I think he should have moved on this summer. Like how that when all the trade talk was talking about Trouba going to Detroit or whatever, I think that would have been the time to really move him. You probably could have got a little bit more in return, but I like the 4th round pick because it's leverage for going into the trade deadline or whatever that you can package with.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they package I still got to learn his name, the defenseman they got back from him, the one that Cousin was just talking about. But yeah, Dan, thank you so much for having us on. I wanted to say thank you before we moved on to another topic.
He's more polite than me.
It's okay. But yeah, a lot of this is we're kind of repeating exactly what we just spoke about to each other about 10-15 minutes ago on our own YouTube show. So hopefully we brought over some of our listeners over to here. And like I said, thanks for having us, and we're looking forward to it.
No problem.
Yeah, you've got one here.
Yeah, Gaza, of course, which I hear is
I
a
had to bring
regular
on the
your
biggest
show.
fan from England over there because I figured it wouldn't be a Ranger show. We didn't have someone from across the pond there to join us.
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah.
we're well
Unreal.
represented. We got Cousin Ed down in Florida. We got me up in New York. You got Dan up in Nova Scotia and Gaza across the pond in England. It's pretty unbelievable.
definitely.
My technology is amazing, man. Let me,
Coach Ed would be blown away.
Coach Ed be like, I can't believe it. You know.
Yeah. So what's this going to look like? Because I've been hearing rumors that we might trade Keandre Miller too. Because
Oh,
I've
God,
been hearing
please.
he wants a big contract.
Well, you kind of touched on a nerve there for little Ed, so I'll let him answer that one.
God.
I didn't hear the trade rumors yet. I'm hoping that is what comes out. I mean, he's been on my nerves for a while now. He's got all the skills. He's got the skill set. He's got the body. He's got everything handed to him. He's had good defensive partners his entire career for the most part, and he just can't figure it out. It seems like he's declining. He had 40 points in one season. Looked like he had the future of like a Victor Hedman type player. We were all on board with him. We were excited for the future. He comes into camp with the Odell Beckham Jr. haircut, and everything just goes straight downhill. You know, it's just he can't figure it out. He started out the season playing with Adam Fox, who's supposed to be one of the best defensemen in the league. So you can't have the excuse of playing with Trouba or Trouba was anchoring him down or whatever a lot of fans were saying around the internet. So, you know, you give him a chance with one of the best defensemen in the league, and he can't capitalize on that opportunity either. So, you know, Drury's obviously ruthless. We saw that today. So for him to come out or for his agent to come out and even just say something like that with his statistics this year, his analytics, everything, is really just a slap in the face. And if I was Drury, I would take it as one. And, you know, I think he's messing with fire. We're playing with fire. And he's probably going to get burned. He's either going to get traded or he's going to get a real sense of reality if it comes down to, I guess, arbitration. Cuz would it come down to that?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's either traded or he gets a long-term deal. I mean, I just don't see any other type of move with Miller, to be honest. I just don't. It's a thing where it's like, you know, I love the toolbox, but, you know, when you open the toolbox, it's like a really nice toolbox, right, in your garage, sitting there. It's beautiful, shiny, expensive toolbox. When you open it, it's like full of screwdrivers that come in these, like, you know, furniture packages. There's no like good actual tools in the toolbox. So there's just something missing with this guy. I think it's mental. He's got everything you want in a player. You know, he's got size, he's got speed. He does have puck skills, even though he doesn't seem to show it. He's, you know, he lacks awareness. And, you know, at first, when you're a young player, you look at Keandre at 22, 21 years old, and you say, hey, that's something he could develop over time and when you get some experience in the league. But like Little Ed said, it's been, 4 years now, and his awareness hasn't seemed to improve much. So, you know, if he's not going to be a 40, 50-point defenseman, then he needs to be an elite defender, and he's not. So at that point, what are you going to pay the guy? He already makes 3.8. You know, he's looking for a significant raise, probably into the 5.5, 6.5 range on a long-term deal. If I'm Drury, I'm not giving him that.
Which is what Laffy got, correct?
No, Laffy got 7.45, something like that.
Oh, I thought it was 6.45.
No, 7.
Either way, whatever. Anyway, it's still in Laffy's range, and Laffy's putting up points. You know, he's
different positions, right?
now.
Yeah, different positions, but I get your point. I mean, look, Miller should be playing at a level where he commands that on a long-term deal, but he's just not.
But he's not. Yep.
I think in Gaza, you haven't spoken much. I don't know your opinions on Keandre. I'll kind of toss it to you, but like I think he's definitely on the block based on his play this year and his contract demands coming up. I wouldn't be surprised if he's traded, honestly.
Well, the thing is with me, I want him gone already. He hasn't, as you said, he hasn't improved his vision much at all since he started with us. Yes, he can obviously develop over time, as you said, but I think we need someone who has got the vision along with the skill set, literally, that Keandre Miller has. And if he's not going to improve and he wants a bigger contract, Drury can just toss him to the side and just say, right, off you go. You're being traded, mate.
Off you go. I love that.
To me,
I'm gonna make a post. Off you go, Gaza.
To me, I would ship him out because I'm liking our draft pick that we got this year in RJ Emery. I think he's going to be a stud on that defensive line for us. And I think he could be better than Miller.
Well, I think he's showing a lot of similarities to Miller, and it's EJ, right? EJ Emery?
Yes, or EJ.
Yeah, no problem. He's spoken out and said that he wants to, whatever, like Miller is his idol, or he wants to like mimic his game from Miller's game. I mean, right now I don't see that. I hope not, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's early. If Miller can turn it around and then he acts as a mentor to EJ, that's a different story. But right now, I think EJ should be focusing elsewhere.
Yeah.
But one of my favorites who we have on the blue line, and I think he's an absolute stud, and that's Braden Snyder. I love that kid. I loved him since he was in the WHL up to the NHL.
Yeah, I mean, Schneider has really taken significant steps in his development. You know, I pegged him as a Coach Ed favorite. Coach Ed's not with us tonight, but I pegged him as a Coach Ed favorite before he even played a game in the league. I told Coach, get ready, you're going to love this kid, and he absolutely loves him. And he's a coach's dream, right? He's got a great attitude. He's got the look too, right? Like he walks in, he dresses well, he's got the slick hair, good-looking young kid. Plays physical, in position all the time, good representative of New York Rangers hockey, right? And he's quiet, you know, he's been buried on a third pair most of his time here. He's probably earned more ice time. He hasn't gotten that opportunity because of Fox and Trouba ahead of him. And he never complained. You didn't hear one thing from him complaining about ice time ever. He just worked to get better, and now he's going to get an opportunity with Trouba gone to really take another step in his development. So I'm excited for Schneider, for sure.
So the next question I got is, do we see Kreider get moved next?
Little Ed,
I don't think so.
That?
I don't think so. I know a lot of people are saying like you got to worry. He has his tenure. He's breaking records. He's a Ranger for life. I mean, take all that out. You gotta remove emotions. I mean, we see that Chris Drury is not basing off emotions. But I'm kind of taking the words out of Cousin Ed's mouth here. But at $6.5 million at his stage in his career, right now he's on pace for 40 goals. You know, he can anchor a power play late into his career. He could play net front on the power play until he's 50 years old. You know, never mind until he's 40. And like that type of player, he comes alive in the playoffs. You know, we saw him last year single-handedly score the hat trick and avoid the elimination against Carolina, or actually win the series, avoid the reverse sweep. And you know, he comes alive. He's a true Ranger. He's a gamer when it matters. Just because he's off to a slow season, I mean, the entire attitude around the Rangers shouldn't really just say let's trade Chris Kreider. He brings a lot more value than say like Chris Trouba does. I mean, Jacob Trouba does.
Yeah, no, I don't see Kreider getting traded. I just don't see it for a lot of the reasons Little Ed just said. I mean, he's about to break all these franchise records. The team has done it so many times in the past to players, but you know, he's it would be pretty shocking if they traded Kreider. To me, at least, it would be pretty shocking.
Just trading him doesn't. Yeah, nice jersey, guys. As always, it just doesn't solve any issues, right? You know, it's like getting rid of Kreider. You're not going to get a monster return for him. I mean, on paper or whatever, you might get some nice young players and stuff, but it's not going to solve the immediate problem. Trading a guy like Chris Kreider, you know what I mean? Like Trouba, yeah. I mean, it's going to suck. I mean, we're losing that big hitter on the blue line, but we're getting they're getting a solid defenseman back. You're never going to get a Chris Kreider back. You know, it's not like unless you're trading him for like Brady Tkachuk or someone like monumental like that. You're not getting a Chris Kreider back. You're not getting someone as good as him in front of the net on the power play. You know, you're not getting a leader back. You're not getting someone that's good with the media back. You know, there's a lot of intangibles that Chris Kreider brings to this team.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he's definitely the next Mr. Ranger, effectively. After I've forgotten the name of the guy that we had before that was Mr. Ranger. He's not
Roger Bear.
Roger Bear.
Gilbert, that's it. Thank you very much.
And this is like how Kreider's been his entire career. Never mind Mr. Ranger, Mr. Inconsistency. This is just another lull in his season. He's going to wake up. He's going to put in, like we said, on pace for 40 goals. He might not get 40, but he's going to get 30, 35. What else do you want from a veteran like Chris Kreider? You know,
and
maybe if Mika could put the puck in the net, he could get some assists as well.
And he's a net front presence on the power play. He's not afraid to stay in front of that net.
That's what I mean. You can't really teach that. I mean, you could build on that skill a little bit, but you cannot teach that just knack for in front of the net, especially in the game nowadays.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then my other question is, I would really love to see Brennan Othmann up on this team. I think he would bring a good scorer's touch right now for what they need on that left side too.
Let guys take this one.
Okay, obviously with Othmann going back and forth between the Rangers and the Hartford Wolfpack, at the moment I think he is a fantastic young talent, but he still needs a bit more development back in the AHL a little bit, just to bring those skills basically forward, and then hopefully one day he'll replace Kreider effectively on the left, literally around the net. But obviously, you can't replace Kreider really.
Wow, I mean, actually interviewing Trouba.
I know. I'm gonna have to wait to watch it, but the thing with Othmann, the problem is he's out with an upper body injury. I think at least until the end of this month. He got hurt in late October, so he's not even eligible to be called up right now.
No.
And I think he's been passed by, Berard. Berard's getting that opportunity, and he's got I really like his game. He's a little small, but he's scrappy, right? It reminds me of I want to call him like Scrappy Doo for those Scooby-Doo fans out there. Like that's what he reminds me of. It's like he's in the corners, he's in front, he drives to the net, he's fast. I love that kid. So I think I'd like to see what he's got for a stretch before rushing Othmann up. And, Othmann will get his chance or he'll get traded. Sometimes prospects are just currency, unfortunately. And he might be one of those guys that while he has potential and, I wouldn't mind seeing him get a chance sometime soon, he might just be currency, right? For a better player, we're going to obviously need defensemen coming soon. So, right? Got to get him somehow.
Yeah, I'm with Gaz. I'm team AHL, and I wanted to bring that up with Miller. A player like him probably could have benefited from playing in the AHL for a little bit longer and learn some defensive hockey, getting more minutes. And I said the same thing about Laffy, Kakko. The list goes on with the Rangers prospects, but I think it's smart that they leave Othmann down there for a little while. I mean, the same thing goes for Berard, Perreault eventually. Players like that need to build their experience a little bit, I think, before going right into the NHL.
I was always a believer that if a rookie comes in, he should at least play 1 or 2 years in the AHL before coming up to the NHL.
Yeah, unless it's like a generational talent, obviously, like McDavid or Berard, someone like that. But I mean, even Laffy, I know he was picked number 1 overall, but I would have liked to see him play a little bit in the AHL before he came up. But luckily, he ended up developing how we all wanted him to.
And I think that line with Trocheck, Laffy, and Panair has become the number 1 line after last year. It seemed like Laviolette relied on them quite heavily last year.
Yeah. Go ahead, Cuz.
No, I mean, the line's been great, and it hasn't been together all season this year. Laviolette's been shifting around the lines, and Trocheck's played with different wingers. But yeah, last year that line had, I believe, the most even strength points of any line in the league, and they weren't put together until game 11. So I think that's right. I'm sure Chris will correct me if I'm not. He usually does, but I think that's correct on the even strength points. So it was a great line, and we'll see if they can catch fire again. Hopefully propel this team back up the standings.
So, what are your thoughts on Mika? Should the Rangers? I know he has a no trade clause, but should we try to trade him? I think Trocheck's the better of the two, really.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Trocheck. He has been since he was traded to us. A very competent hockey player. Scored a lot for us. Been at the other end as well, keeping it tight, but obviously not lately because of obviously what we're talking
Well,
now.
last year he was number 2 behind Crosby in face-off wins.
Yeah. Yeah, that literally that.
It seems that Mika doesn't show up when the time you need him to show up.
Yeah, that's why my new nickname for him is Sleepy.
Jeez Louise.
The thing is, I know Mika's obviously in his mid-30s, just like Kreider, but it seems that Mika's game has gone to a point where we need to trade him, but with the no move clause, it's going to be very difficult to get rid of him, even with the amount of money on his contract. It's just not good.
I
think Trocheck will be the next captain of the Rangers. You heard it here first.
Wow. Bold.
All right, guys, with the bold prediction. I mean, look, the thing with Zibanejad, I don't know, a lot of people this is a very disputed topic right now with Mika. On our show, we're very critical of Zibanejad. We expect a lot out of him. That's why, he's been one of the Rangers' most dynamic players for years. In the last couple of years, we've noticed a drop-off in that. And that largely, to us, appears to be effort-related. And when you have a guy who's, leading your team as a number one center, and you're questioning his effort, that team isn't going to win the Stanley Cup, right? I mean, center depth in the league is probably the most important position to have depth. It's arguable, but I think that position is the most important. So if you remove Mika and you just go Trocheck and Hedl, and then you got Sam Carrick and Bo Grow or whatever his name is in Hart, I mean, that's not very good center depth. So I don't think just, extracting Mika itself is a good decision. But if there was an opportunity to transition from Zibanejad to somebody who's a little more gutsy and is going to play more of a cycling game, a forecheck game, I'd be open to that. But I really think the Rangers' best chance to win is getting Mika back to that player he was. And he's not so old that he's declined. If they can figure out a way to motivate him to play like he used to, I think that's the Rangers' best chance to win. He's got a no move clause. They can't really do anything without his permission. So they got to figure that out. And that's on the coaches and the management to figure out how to ignite him.
Because, Mika is good. I find him good in the defensive end. He's very good defensively. But it seems, as always with him, when he gets hot, he gets hot. But when he gets cold, it stays cold for like a long time.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years of that coldness that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But, no, a few years ago I had him pegged as a Selke candidate on our show. It was one of my bold predictions. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3. Not sure either.
I had him 40. I had him with 40 goals this year as my bold prediction.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Disaster.
Well, you never know. He can get really, really hot, but it's gonna take a lot for that to happen. That player's in him. The point that Cousin is trying to make. I think their best chance of winning is to activate these players that we know can perform better, and we saw it last year. It's not like all of them are declining. It's not like all of them are injured. The ones that were took care of their injuries in the offseason, and they came in fresh. We were all thinking that this team was going to be fresh, excited, and out there for revenge and ready to go chase the cup. And they came out very flat. I mean, hey, they got their wins, but all their wins were against weak teams. And like Cuz said, we're very critical and we're very we kind of mix the eye test with analytics. Coach Ed is obviously more of the eye test guy, and we see it even in the wins. We saw it. Like, we saw this coming. It's just they weren't playing well even when they were winning. Coach Ed and I have half season tickets, so we go to a decent amount of games. We're able to see it live, and a lot of the time it's like watching paint dry, and it's just not, the effort's just not there, you know. So that, like I said, the team, the skill, everything that we've seen, everything that we love as Ranger fans is still there, but the effort's not there. So I think if they just fix that, and they could turn, it's not too late to turn things around.
So the next hot topic would be, after the Trouba trade, are we going to look at another coach getting fired here and another new coach coming in? Or because this will be what, the 5th coach in 5 years for those Rangers if that happens?
I don't know if it's 5 and 5, but I tweeted out from the Rangers Ed account a few
Probably 3 and 5.
Yeah, a few days ago I tweeted out like Laviolette's, I have a feeling he's going to get fired. But I'm backing off that a little. Just seeing how Drury responded to, because if you really just go through the timeline, right? So the Rangers are struggling. Drury releases a memo to the GMs. Trouba and Kreider are available. Kind of a big like motivational tool that backfired. The team just floundered after that. So that made me question, is the coach on the hot seat? But Drury responded by following through on the threat, which I think is his way to really, he's trying to improve the team, but he's also letting the other guys know, like, I'll trade you, So I think he's more concerned about the players than the coach at this point. Laviolette was questioned today, and he said, Chris and I are on the same page. So is that just media talk? Maybe, but he seemed to go out of the way to back Drury's decision to trade Trouba, in my opinion. So I think they're kind of on the same page right now.
So I wonder what changed from last year to this year for the Rangers. Like last year, they were one of the funnest teams to watch, and then this year it's just you lose to Buffalo 6-0 or 6-1. Like,
I was at that game.
That's a game that you should have won.
It was ugly.
I mean, a lot transpired, look, the Rangers won the President's Trophy last year, but they weren't the best team in the league. Florida was pretty evident. They demoralized the Rangers in the Eastern Conference Final. They were lucky to win those 2 games. I went to all the games here down here in Florida, and they were painful to watch live. And I just kept saying, "Come on, like, where's the energy? Like, why aren't they, bring the energy? Where's the forecheck? Where's this? Where's that?" And it just wasn't there. So, the GM isn't stupid. He watches the games. He sees the team needs a change. They tried to make changes by moving Trouba. They tried to get rid of Gaudreau. Neither guy wanted to go anywhere. Drury was able to waive Gaudreau. He replaced him with Riley Smith. That's, an upgrade, but Smith isn't a world beater. Couldn't really make any changes because of the salary cap, right? So it was the same group. They had a lame duck captain, and here we are. And that's just it. I mean, that just boils it down. Like, Drury couldn't make any changes. And the Rangers leadership kind of acted a little bit entitled. I hate to say, it's what it appears to me.
All right, so we'll lighten up the mood a little bit. Who's your guys' favorite prospect coming up that you are excited to watch?
I'll let you go first, little Ed. I'm sure you could take the obvious one.
I don't know if it's really an obvious one. I mean, does the guys on the team currently count? Like the prospects that just came up, like players like Edstrom or like Rempe and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I mean, I think a player like Edstrom, Coach Ed and I went to the Hartford game last year, and we saw towards the end, it was actually the game that Louis Domingue scored the goalie goal. But Edstrom was a player that really stood out to us. Obviously, Rempe has his reputation of being able to fight and being able to hit and hold his own in that regard. But I think Edstrom holds all of those qualities. He might not be as strong of a fighter as Rempe is or what he's known for, but he can fight and he will fight. And his skating ability is just so much better than Rempe's, and his hockey IQ, just everything about him. So a player like him really stood out to Coach Ed and I when we went to the Wolfpack game. And we're going to try to go to another game hopefully soon while we're on a break from coaching, kind of to try to get the same idea, see who else we can take a look at and who else we could be excited for.
Goza, what about you?
Funny enough, Edstrom was on my mind. Funny enough.
Stole it.
Yeah.
You could build on that if you want, guys.
Yeah, Edstrom, since he's come in, obviously playing for the Rangers, I have liked his style. Obviously not the best fighter, as you say, little Ed, as Rempe, but obviously who doesn't love Rempe on this show? But yeah, with Edstrom, I feel he will be a very bright future with the Rangers. I can't see him going anywhere else for the next few years. Hopefully we give him a nice contract where it's not going to hurt us too much. And hopefully he'll win some awards for us too. Maybe a Stanley Cup. Hopefully.
He might win an award on the Rangers Ed podcast, but I don't know about any NHL.
Definitely
awards.
will.
Yeah, I don't know about any others.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's Gabe Perreault. I mean, it's the obvious answer, but the guy is just one of the best prospects in the NHL. He's one of the best offensive talents outside the league right now, under 23. He's going to step right into a top 6 role, and it's going to be exciting. I want to see how his game translates to the league. So, I mean, to me, that's the most obvious, exciting prospect we have. Guys like Berard or Emery and Offman, there's other good prospects there who could impact the league, but Perreault is the best chance to be a star. So for me, it's him.
I'm surprised no one said Mancini, who's playing tonight.
Coach would have said Mancini.
He looks pretty good
Coach
on the defense.
Mancini, yep.
Coach loves Mancini. He's a big Mancini guy. I like Mancini too. I'm excited for him for sure. Guys like that who come out of nowhere, it's pretty exciting. So, but
definitely. And then so this one will be a good little topic. Who do you think gets the C next, or do we see a C for a little bit?
There's definitely not going to be a mid-season announcement. I mean, maybe in the offseason this next offseason. But hey, I mean, if they get a player like Brady Tkachuk, I think that's a no-brainer where you just name him captain right away. I'm not really sure if the captain's on the team right now. I mean, there's no one that really stands out to me. It's not going to be Kreider. If it was going to be Kreider, it would have been him last year or 2 years ago. I don't think Adam Fox is the right pick. I think that would be too much of a distraction for him. And I don't think there should be another temporary captain. So I don't think Trocheck is the right pick either necessarily. So it's hard for me to say. So I'm going to go with I don't think the captain's on the team right now.
I'm going to say eventually, no, there's no captain for a minute, but eventually I think it's Alexis Lafreniere.
That'd be nice.
And I think that's probably the next captain of this team. The problem I think with Lafreniere is that he's been a little bit infected by the veteran leadership that we have. So I'm not sure the team wants to rush and give it to him, but I think they're going to let this team play out and see who steps up, and that's going to determine who the captain was. Look, just like Trouba, right? Last time we didn't have a captain for years, Trouba emerged, right? I mean, you can criticize the guy all you want, but he emerged as a leader in the locker room. It happened organically, and then he got the captaincy, right? So something like that's going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Goza?
Didn't I give my answer 10 minutes ago? Yeah, Trocheck. I still think Trocheck, but it could be anyone at this rate.
I was thinking if he stays, Lindgren or Snyder. Just because they seem like they're the grit that New York really loves, right?
I don't think Lindgren is long for this team, so I would say no to him. Schneider, I don't know. You give it to, he could emerge. I could see it, but that won't be yet anytime soon, I don't think.
But now it's time for the best part of the show that we like to call, and it's the Ed podcast portion where you guys tell us a little bit about your show, what got you started, why the Rangers. So we'll turn it over to you guys and let you guys have the spotlight now.
I'll let you handle that, little Ed. You're our promotional guy.
Well, I guess why the Rangers is we were born into this. Like Cuz said already, Coach Ed couldn't join us tonight. He's down in Florida spending some time with my sister. But Coach Ed is my father. Cousin Ed is obviously my cousin. We're all named Eddie. We all have the same exact name, start to finish, first, middle, and last. So yeah, we were born into the Rangers fandom, and we decided to call it the Rangers Ed Podcast. So it's kind of like a play on words, like Rangers education, but also our names. And I guess it started out with we had a group chat going. We texted all day long, nonstop, some phone calls, complaining about the team, wondering where the next moves were going to go. Cousin Ed obviously always has a pulse on the salary cap and trade talk and contract talk, which Coach Ed and I don't really have a knack for. So we kind of just decided, like, during like the whole like podcast, like when that things were hot, like when Spit and Chicklets was starting to come around and stuff, like we decided like, hey, why not give it a try? We bought some cheap microphones off of Amazon. We didn't do video right away. We only started doing video recently. So yeah, I figured why not just start recording our conversations instead of wasting our time just talking to each other. Maybe some people want to waste their time listening to us. So turned out to gain a pretty quick following, and unfortunately COVID hit us pretty strong, but we powered through it and found some things to talk about. Fans like Gaza obviously held with us throughout the whole time, and he's one of our original fans and one of our strongest fans, always supported us. So yeah, we just love doing it. We love doing like unique content. Like we keep saying, Coach Ed, he brings another aspect to the show, more of an eye test guy, and he actually does like things on the whiteboard as our Coach's Corner segment. We've released that on YouTube as a separate video. So we try to separate ourselves from everybody else in that regard by kind of giving a coach's aspect with analytics, eye test, contract talk, kind of covering everything instead of just hitting like the headlines that you see in social media, kind of going like a little bit behind the scenes, kind of doing X's and O's and explaining why things are happening as opposed to just talking about the headlines all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
so have any of you guys played hockey or play?
Yeah, we've all played hockey. Obviously, Coach Ed's played hockey a lot longer than we have. He's hung them up somewhat recently, but he's pushing 61 years old. He just turned 61, but he's still on the ice twice a week coaching Stony Brook University out here on Long Island. I myself played club hockey at Loyola University, so I played my whole life. And Cousin Ed, you could say what you did.
Yeah, I played juniors for Springfield Junior Picks back in Massachusetts, back a long time ago. Played Long Island travel hockey my whole life, and then eventually I went to play junior. It was like, I think it was technically called Junior B, but it was more like Junior C. I would call it more Junior C level at that point. Yeah, I didn't play in college or anything. I kind of stopped playing at like 18, 19 competitively, and then I played men's league in my 20s. I should be playing men's league now because I'm able to, but yeah, I played my whole life. Pretty much my whole life was hockey. Played ice hockey all year, roller hockey in the summer, hockey camp, hockey, all of us. So, and we're all diehard Ranger fans, right?
Yep.
So it's one of those things where look, the podcast is a blessing because I get to log on every week and educate Coach Ed on things that he doesn't know about, and then he gets to turn around and educate me on things that I don't know about. And little Ed has a unique challenge of playing a little bit of mediator between the two of us because sometimes we disagree vehemently. But it's a fun mix, you know, and it's always been a fun mix with us, and that's why we were like, you know what, we could bring something unique out there, and it's just real. Like what you guys see if you guys watch us is literally what we're like when we're not recording. There is no, it is not different, you know. It is exactly that way. So we try to be authentic and you know, get ourselves out there a little and talk hockey. But you know, look, I really appreciate you having us on. It was fun. It's been a crazy day for Rangers hockey. And they're playing right now, right? So it's not over, but we shall we'll see where it goes. But you know, I appreciate you having us on, Dan. Thank you a lot.
No problem. I appreciate you guys coming on. It's been a blast. I know too, like we're huge Rangers fans, but like off the camera, like I know I was talking to little Ed and he collects cards. Cousin Ed, do you do anything off camera? Like, do you collect cards or anything like that?
You have no idea what I collect.
Cousin Ed collects everything.
I'll show you. This closet here.
Cousin Ed just moved. He moved from one house in Florida to another house in Florida, so he's in between Ranger rooms, if you will. So
this is all stuff, and there's stuff here on the side as well. This is all stuff that I need to figure out where it's going. I also have a garage that's full to the brim right now. And that's just how my hockey and football and baseball souvenirs. But I also have probably 5 to 6 bins, like giant, like Home Depot bins full of Simpsons memorabilia as well that I have no place to put.
Worth a lot of money, I'm sure.
I think my Simpsons memorabilia is probably worth like tens of thousands of dollars. Like it's just a lot of stuff, you know. But look, at the end of the day,
all packaged too, all in the packaging, everything.
A lot, not all, but a lot.
Most.
So yes, I do a lot of things off. Little Ed's a little more organized than me, but the thing is that he's just more creative, you know. So like, he takes the time and he enjoys like setting up the little shelf and the thing over here and the design of the room. And I sit here and I'm like, dude, you got to come visit me and set up my room. I don't have the vision, you know. So.
And then we got Goza down here, who's a collector of all jerseys. This guy has more jerseys.
Like 4 hats since we started in 40 minutes.
I'm going to tell you something funny enough, Rangers related. I will have at the end of this month 39 Rangers jerseys. Have you lost Cousin Ed already? This happens every time. We lose Cousin Ed for a few minutes. Oh, there we go. He's back again.
Oh.
Happens every time.
I was just trying to sign off while you were talking. You know, I just wanted to get off. I don't know what happened. 39 jerseys I have from the Rangers. 2 of them are still I'm waiting for at the moment, one of them will complete effectively all the commercially available Rangers jerseys. Different styles, of course, and I have another one with another name player on it, of a jersey I already have in the Rangers collection, which obviously I'll show you that's when it gets here on my YouTube channel. I'm looking
which
forward
is the
to
same name as my title there on the screen.
Yeah, love that. Everyone's got to check out Gaz's YouTube channel, his big jersey collection and even bigger hat collection for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And jersey collection of jerseys that you would never think of either, too.
I know. I love it. I see them all on Instagram and YouTube. It's amazing. But
I have another Rangers hat coming tomorrow.
Collecting things, like I think it might be a mental illness. I'm not sure. But my wife, like, she really wants me to get rid of a lot of my stuff. So like, let's just put it that way. She's like, you need to get rid of some of this stuff. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
We're not doing that. But
my biggest thing is I like buying hockey sticks. Like, I only use one hockey stick for hockey, but I have like 20. And they're all like from $100 to like $800.
Yeah, wow. That's a cool collection. I like that.
So like one day I hope to make like a bench or something out of it. Or if I'm lucky, I might break one and be able to use another one I got.
I got that. I have the same goal. I want to make like a coffee table out of some old sticks. But down in Florida, it's hard to find it. I only got an old Hespeler Gretzky wood stick. That was mine. So that's a good start, but I need like probably 15 or 20 sticks like you got. You could do it. You could do it, man. Talk to Coach Ed. He'll hook you up he'll give you a step-by-step on it. So
Yeah, for sure.
And then doesn't one of you guys do woodwork?
Yeah, my dad does like he's like a full contractor and carpenter. I do on a much smaller scale in my workshop behind you. So I do like some small sports memorabilia and things like that.
Yeah, because I've seen some of your signs that you've done on your Instagram.
Yeah, definitely check out Little Ed's workshop. I'm trying to build that a little bit more. And I'd love to hook you up with something for your studio or your wall behind you, whatever you want.
Awesome. I actually have T-shirts I made for the show that actually have my logo.
Awesome, great.
And bubble mailers that we have done.
I can make your shirts next time around if you want.
Nice.
We'll talk business.
Actually, have one here that I haven't mailed out yet, but it's just like little hint of it.
Cool, man.
nice. That looks good.
Yeah, if international mail wasn't so expensive, right, guys? It's unbelievable.
I know.
And Canada Post isn't on strike.
They want $50 just for me to send a T-shirt to Gaz. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know.
Well, Dan,
Yeah.
listen, this was fun. Thanks for having us on. I gotta hop off.
Yeah,
But
I
I
got to
do
watch this Trouba interview, and I want to watch this game. But we really appreciate you having us
No,
on.
thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate all the time you gave us. And hopefully, well, it's tied 1-1 now for the Rangers. So
You just spoiled it. For now, you might as well watch it live. I was waiting to go back. No, I'm just kidding.
I had. I do have.
I won't tell you
the
anything
Trouba
else.
interview
I'm
because I
behind
wanna
you
have
guys
number
too
one.
for the time. So,
Yeah, no worries. Thanks a lot. We appreciate
All
it.
right,
Dan.
man.
Thanks again, man.
but thank you
We'll come
guys for
back on
coming, and
anytime.
hopefully we can do this again some other time.
Yeah, next time
Yeah,
we'll bring
man.
our card collections and we'll do something with some memorabilia, no doubt.
Awesome, sounds great.
Yeah.
All right,
All right,
man.
man.
Guys, see you next week, buddy.
Love you
See
guys.
next
Thanks a
time,
lot,
boys.
man. Good luck with
Yeah,
the rest of the
thanks.
show.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good boys they are. So, guys, just
That was
follow
fun.
the Range Z podcast. They are fun guys to watch. They
They
do some
are
live
great.
sometimes as well.
No, they're great. I go there every Tuesday. I think they're live.
They were live on Tuesday because they changed the schedule. They normally are every Monday, but
Yeah.
obviously just double check their socials just in case they change.
Yeah, and it's
obviously
a great
scheduled.
show over there. Like I said, we didn't have the other Ed, but Coach Ed is hilarious too, just like
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
Fun time tonight. Goes. What are you thinking? What's next for our Rangers, bud?
Well, looking
Can
at
we
the
turn
crystal,
the ship around, or should we start thinking about the retool?
the last season when we had a bit of a wobble of a few defeats, we then turned it around. But obviously we don't have Trouba anymore, and obviously we've got a new Finnish defenseman in the squad. It's going to be a bit more difficult this time to come back. But if we don't get into the playoffs this season, I think a minor retool is needed.
I'm
That's how I look at
thinking
it
one
at the
more
moment.
big move. Whether that's, like I said, as advantage ad if he waives his no move trade clause, or even a Keandre Miller, or even a Lindgren type deal. Something to kind of shake it up a little bit more.
Yeah, we need a definite shake-up because if we keep continuing on this trajectory where we keep being beaten by the Buffalo Sabres and other small teams that we don't like so much,
Or
we're just going to be back into mediocrity like we were 4 years ago.
or even the Devils, Jack Hughes pulling that little showboat.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you need a Rempe to lay a guy out.
Yeah,
like,
you
you
always
don't do
need some
that.
kind of fighter.
And I think Rempe, would be great to bring back up right now, especially this time, to bring a little bit more energy into this team. Because I think that's what they're lacking. They're lacking that energy.
Yeah, we need Rempe back in the squad for that energy. We really need him. Because if there's no energy in the team and Rempe's not there to, start a fight with whoever the biggest fighter is in the opposition, then I can't see the squad getting in the playoffs at all.
No. And I mean, the big surprise, though, for this year is Jonathan Quick's playing amazing still.
Yeah, Johnny Quick Brick Wall. Just tripped over my words there. Johnny Quick Brick Wall, as I nickname him these days. He's been playing so fantastically. He's obviously in the twilight of his career, but he's still not playing like it. He's playing literally like he is when he was at the Kings. So
I think part of him playing how he is he's back in his home of New York and he wants to play for the Rangers.
Yeah, because that's the thing with a lot of the New York boys. You're either a Rangers fan, an Islanders fan, or if you really don't want to win a trophy anytime soon, a Sabres fan. Or if you're a traitor to New York Devils. Anyway, the thing is, the allure of playing for your home team is always there for any person, whichever sport you watch and play. But with John Quick, he is playing his heart out, just like you would play for your home team. And I just find that really good for Jonathan Quick. But again, the question is, how long will he continue playing for the Rangers if he's still happy or unhappy, depending on obviously what the season's going to turn out for us, to be honest.
See, to me, and I think this is going to be a hot topic, is I don't think we should have signed Igor.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's obviously going to be a problem, because now we've got him on an 11.5 million annual average value contract a year for 8 years.
Which now he's the highest paid goaltender with 92 million.
That is quite a lot. And obviously that's going to affect the cap space for the next few years, even though it will possibly go up next season and the seasons after that. So it is going to be tough to bring in a talent that we need to give the team a kick at the backside, as I would say. Because we need someone that can just shake up the team in the right way and then make us play how we did last season or even better.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't have signed Igor. I would probably trade him or let him go at the end of this year. And I would have brought up our goalie in the AHL, Gerard, or I think it's Gerard or Garland.
Garland, I think it's Garland.
Yeah, because I think he's really good. And having him up there with Jonathan Quick, I think that would really benefit him even more.
Yeah.
Because I just can't stand paying Igor $92 million, and he wants to compete. But I say maybe in 2 or 3 years, this team's probably not going to be competing. You're probably going to see them retool if they don't make the playoffs this year or next year.
Yeah, 100%. But I think that Igor's just basically just gone for too much money. But obviously with just Chris Drury wanting to keep him, I think he's literally just thought, okay, get rid of Truba, give Igor what he wants. And then obviously he didn't get what he wanted essentially the first time. So then Drury just went, okay, here's more money. What do you think? But the problem is trying to give in to player demands is not easy.
No. Now we got a question here from Dig. Predictions on where New York finishes in the standings. I say maybe 5th, maybe 4th if we're lucky and can get rolling.
If we can get rolling right about now, hopefully, we should probably finish it, as you say, Dan, 4th or 5th. But to be honest, I think this season we just need to get it out of the way, come back next year with small retooling, and then hopefully then we can get back to where we should be.
Definitely. I just find right now watching Rangers game, it's not fun like it was last year.
No, we were completely steamrolling most of the teams every day that we were playing. Obviously, the Devils, just winning against them most of the time was fun. We beat the Islanders as well quite a few times, which was really sweet, including the Stadium Series, which is still my favourite game of last season, winning 6-5, where I actually was cursing at work while I was actually watching it and doing my own work. I'm not kidding. I actually had my Rangers jersey on while I was working, only because where I was working was actually closed for the night, so I could watch.
No, I don't know about this team. I don't think Laviolette should get fired. I really don't, because I think he's a great coach, and he had that team playing well. I don't know if it's just something in that locker room that's not clicking.
Yeah, because obviously with obviously having someone that's not helping the team rather than causing obviously problems, which effectively is like a cancer in the team, you've got to root all those problems out one by one, and then who's the biggest problem, and then work your way down from that.
Yeah.
Like wherever you work in life, if you have someone that really isn't pulling the team forward, along with yourself and others that are pulling the team forward, then either you should try and make them work towards the same goal, or find a way to get them fired in a way. But
Yeah,
obviously with hockey, you trade them if you can, or put them on waivers, as that was the threats effectively, which has worked to a point.
yeah. What are your thoughts on the Four Nation Cup rosters? Who do you think's got the best shot?
That's a tricky one this time, because obviously we got Finland, Sweden, Canada, and the US. I just normally back Canada, but I don't know this year, because I think the US have got a good chance, just like Canada. Finland normally are quite quiet about their success, and Sweden are very quiet about their success. So I could see a possible upset with Sweden or Finland winning it, but could be, I think, just the US or Canada, to be honest, at the top. Very hard to predict this time.
I think if we're going based on like goalies, I think US. I really do. With Hellebuck, Swayman, and the other hot one there. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Canada's goalies, I'm not convinced on them. Bennington, Montembeault. Like, I don't know why you didn't go get Fleury or somebody else. Like, I know Canada's thinking our defense is going to be good enough so that their goalie doesn't have to be that great, but I'm not sold on the defense either.
Yeah.
But
it's one of those things. It's like, I can't really fault any of the nations for going for it. But if Canada are going to play a very open attacking game and have not such good goalies in the back, okay, Bennington, obviously he's had his heyday in the sun when the Blues won the Cup. Obviously Montembeault still hasn't really lived up to his talents since moving, obviously, from Montreal. And obviously not having Fleury in the team, obviously his final year in the NHL, it could have been a good swan song if he was in goal, because normally he's a very good goalie anyway, as we have known for many years. And he's won 3 Stanley Cups. No, 3 Stanley Cups? Where did I get 3 from? 2. I keep forgetting. I know he was on Vegas, but he was traded. Blackhawks and then Wild. I keep forgetting that. Yeah, he won 2 Stanley Cups, so he should have been on the Canadian team then, to be honest. But sometimes, final year, you just do what you want and just do what you like, really,
Yeah.
to a point. But
But
the USA, if they've got the goalies you say, Swayman, Hellebuck, that is going to be a very formidable team going forward. Very formidable.
yeah. But well, we want to thank everyone for staying with us tonight. We appreciate you. Rangers Ed podcast was on tonight. If you missed it, great show. We talked about Rangers. We had Goes on tonight as well, special guest. But we want to say thank you all for coming tonight. We appreciate you all being here. And I know for me, I want to say thank you to everyone who's staying with us. We appreciate all you guys and all the support. And definitely go check out Rangers Ed podcast in the description below. A great show. Great group of guys, too. You'll have some laughs. I love listening to them bicker with each other sometimes, too. That's fun. You'll see me over there. You'll see Goza over there as well. He's always there. Make sure to go sub up Goza, too. I think he's at like 100 and something right now. Let's get him up there, guys. He's got a great collection. He's starting to get into cards a little bit more, too. I've seen him opening some. And I've seen you've been posting some around the arena, too.
Yeah, obviously with the amount of hockey cards I've bought recently, there's quite a bit. But yeah, there's quite a lot of obviously jerseys as well that I post. Obviously the ones I unbox, which obviously there'll be a few more coming up, which are Rangers jerseys, which is a good bonus. So yeah, but obviously I've passed 100 subscribers just recently, which I wasn't expecting. So thank you to all who have subscribed and who are here. That obviously a lot of you have subscribed, including obviously Dan, and I've subscribed to Dan as well before. So yeah, thank you very much.
No problem. It was a great time. We had fun. I knew the boys would get a kick out of you if I brought you on, because it's like you can't have a Rangers show without the number 1 Rangers fans I know. So I had to get them on.
Yeah.
And then I told them, and they were shocked.
Yeah.
But no, thanks for popping on. I appreciate you as always, buddy. You know you're always welcome here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, everyone in the chat, from me, from Goza, from the Rangers Ed podcast, we want to thank you all for coming and have a great night. And why don't you pop on over to Sportscards and things with Aaron? I don't know what he's got cooking over there tonight, but it should be a good show over there as well. So we'll see you all over there, and let's go over and raid Aaron. Have a great night, everybody. See you on next Friday, where our host or our special guest next Friday is going to be another great podcast duo, and that is Cats and Bolts podcast. So we're going to be talking Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning, so stay tuned for that one. Have a great one. See y'all later.
See you next time.